And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Lister Pros TV, and today we're in Las Vegas, Nevada at Fairway Mortgage with Tim Kelly Kiernan of Remax Excellence. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day as a real estate agent to join me on Real Estate Pros.
Jordan, I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So for those watching that don't know who you are, we'll give you a minute to introduce yourself.
Sure. My name's Tim Kelly Kiernan. I've been with Remax Excellence for about a decade now. And prior to that, I was actually a loan officer for a little bit. Okay, but a full-time 40 to 80 hour a week realtor, working his butt off here in Las Vegas, helping both buyers and sellers. And Remax Excellence is the largest Remax here in Las Vegas, as well as the state of Nevada. And I act as a realtor / sales manager for the broker owner.
Gotcha. Awesome. So the 80-hour work week sounds about normal for a real estate agent. I was going to say, at least you acknowledge that, right?
It is. It's the phone is always ringing, and but the one thing about here in Las Vegas, and you guys travel the country talking to realtors. Just curious if this is the case somewhere else. Here in Las Vegas, just so you know, how many realtors do you think are in Las Vegas? How many licensed realtors?
Realtors.
Any idea? Any clue?
I would guess 15,000.
Wow, 14,000.
Is it? Okay.
Right. How many of them do it full time? What percentage, probably?
What percent of that? Probably 25%.
I think that's even high.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think that's one of my pet peeves, is that we have so many realtors. It kind of muddies the water a little bit.
That's true.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but it's a great profession. I love it. I don't see myself doing anything else for a long time.
Awesome. So you're a stats guy. So let's talk about some numbers when it comes to Las Vegas market or real estate in general. What are some stats for
the market here in Vegas has, we've been on a nice run for a while. For the last 24, 36 months, we've had some great home appreciation. The last 12 months, the average home has gone up over 13%. And I think we're number one, according to Case-Shiller, in the last 12 months as far as appreciation goes. We finally beat out Seattle.
Wow.
Seattle was growing like crazy. The home values there grow every 14 minutes, I think.
Right.
But we outpaced them for the last 12 months. And the issue here in Las Vegas for a while was our inventory. The number of homes on the market was low. And so there was a surplus of buyers and a low number of homes. So prices, of course, have gone up. But now inventory is picking up a little bit, and home prices are starting to flatten out a little bit. But the market's still strong.
So do you see the market continuing at its current pace?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm more bullish about the market. I don't think we'll have 13% appreciation over the next 12 months, but I could see it being 9 or 10%. I don't see it slowing down dramatically. Again, right as of today, we have just over 7,000 properties for sale on our multiple listing service. That's condos and townhomes and single-family residences, and that's the highest it's been in almost 2 years.
Wow.
So the inventory was needed to kind of balance the market a little bit.
So you mentioned that you came from a lending background. How has that helped you in your real estate career?
Oh, tremendously. It was great. I mean, I was a lender from 04 to 08. And 08 is when, the crap hit the fan. And I didn't know what I wanted to do.
So you're doing some great mortgages back then.
I showed up at work on a Monday and the door was locked. They locked the door. They padlocked the door at some of the mortgage companies here in town. And then from there, I went from the fire to the frying pan, became a realtor. Go figure. Unbelievable, right? What a nightmare, what a dope I was for doing that. But no, I don't regret it at all. It's been a great run for 10 years. And the real estate market here in Las Vegas has been unique, to say the least.
So how have you seen it change since you've been a realtor over the last 10 years?
It's been when I got licensed in 08, it was the REO short sale time.
Yeah.
We had close to 20,000 homes for sale.
Jeez.
Buyers were making offers sight unseen, and it was a little chaotic, to say the least. And the market took a crash.
Yeah. Vegas was one of those markets that were like expanding crazy during that time. So they suffered one of the worst.
I think it probably was
downfalls,
the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we went up the most, and then we fell the most. So we got it on both ends. And another stat, in June of '06, was when we were at our peak. The median price in Vegas was $315,000, the median price, June of '06. January of 12, the median price was $118,000.
Oh my gosh.
So the bottom fell out like you wouldn't believe. But now, 2018, our median price is $290,000. So we've, as you can see, it's been crazy.
So have you tracked it? Are we on a regular trajectory right now when it comes to appreciation from before the bust, if you would call it that?
Well, let me ask you, what's normal appreciation?
I mean, I don't know. I think you can expect 5 to 10% or something like
right,
that.
4, 5, 6%.
Yeah.
That's what my mom and dad told me when I was little. If it goes up 4 or 5%, sell it in 15 years, you make a profit. We went up 35% one year, and we've gone up 13% this year. None of this is, I think, normal or healthy. So I think it's the market is adjusting, and more homes coming on the market. So I think the double-digit appreciation might slow down. It has to. It's the right thing, I think, to do. We need a more balanced market of buyers.
So right
and
now,
sellers.
is it a obviously it's more of a seller's market because sellers are getting multiple offers on most of their listings, depending on the price range. Are you seeing certain price ranges where they take longer to sell, being a real estate agent here in Vegas?
Well, it's slowed down a little bit just in the last month or so. A lot of sellers are more open to negotiating, paying buyer closing costs, which they wouldn't even consider, 6 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago. But in my opinion, if you list a property under $300,000 and it's nice and it's priced, it's accordingly, it's going to sell within a week. You'll get an offer within a week. Once you get above $400,000 to $800,000 in there, you're on the market for a while. A while meaning 45 days or 60 days, which to some people is dramatically long, but that's relatively normal in a balanced market. So yeah, you're right. The price point of 400 and above takes a little bit longer. Those homes are sitting there longer than the sellers want them to.
So have you been with Remax the whole time?
Yeah, all the way through.
So why did you choose Remax, or why have you chosen to stay with Remax throughout time? Because it seems like real estate agents have a tendency to bounce around every 2 to 3 years. And
when I left the mortgage industry, I spoke to a couple of agents, and one I was working with closely worked for Remax. And so I joined his team, quote-unquote team. And then after a year, I left the team and did my own little thing here. And I just like the brand. It's the #1 brand in real estate. Everyone knows the balloon.
Right, yeah.
So
have you ridden in the hot air balloon?
I have.
You have?
Well, what's the word when you go up a little bit?
Yeah. They've
There's a word
taken
for
you
that.
off the ground.
That's about it. I'm not going. No, it ain't happening. But there's a word for that when you go up like 100 feet and you're still anchored to the ground. That's as far as we go. But I like going into people's homes, and they know the name. They know who Remax is. It's not ABC Realty or anything like that. But ultimately, they buy. The agent is the one they're choosing. Whoever you work for shouldn't really matter. But I think it gets us in the door.
Sure. All right, so the brand recognition's big. You've been in the business for a while. You've been through kind of a cycle where it was low and then it's high. What advice would you give to an agent that started their career in 2018 to find success?
Like I said, we have 14,000 plus realtors in Las Vegas. And just yesterday, true story, I was down at the real estate board, the Greater Las Vegas Association of Realtors, because I'm on the board of directors there. And we just built a brand new building right over on Rainbow. Gorgeous. And when you walk in the main lobby, it's usually really quiet, very high ceilings, beautiful though. And we have classrooms. And in classroom A is the biggest classroom. And as I'm walking towards it, the doors swing open and a buffalo stampede of agents come out. There were 300 agents in there that just got their license. And they were taking what we call the orientation class. So they got their license last Friday, and it's mandatory you take these 2 training classes at the board. So that's 300 right there that have become realtors. So I think the advice would be it's a great profession. If you're going to do it, though, try to do it full time. Don't deal blackjack at the Mirage and and be a realtor. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Some of my best friends do that. But when they say that they're a realtor, they're really not. They're a craps dealer. They're a valet parker. Those of us that wake up every day and go to work at 9 o'clock, that's the realtors I really enjoy working with.
So what's the statistic that agents, because we're seeing a huge influx in agents, people have the perception that it's an easy market. Obviously, if you're selling properties, you've already acknowledged that it doesn't take a whole long as it's priced right. What advice would you give, or actually what I was going to ask was, what percentage are agents around, in 18 to 24 months?
The turnover is dramatic. Last I heard, it's like 85% don't last more than 24 or 36 months. So it's a constant churning of new agents replacing those that don't want to pay their fee. Every January, we drop 1,000 agents because they don't want to pay the fees at the beginning of the year. But again, 300 a month that are coming on board, if that number continues. And you're right, Jordan, I think it's an unfair perception that it's easy to do this. But it is easy to become a realtor.
Oh yeah,
that's another pet peeve of mine. The bar is too low. That we have to raise the bar a little higher to become a realtor because it's much too easy, and it's not that expensive.
And you're obviously involved because you're on the board of directors, and you are involved in the community. Have you always been involved in the real estate industry?
Yeah, but besides GLVAR, there's another association called the VA Rep, the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals, that I do a lot of work with. I'm on their board of directors, and we do a lot of education and advocacy for the military and the veterans here in town. We have a big Air Force base, Nellis Air Force Base. We have another one called Creech. So we have, I think we have 300,000 military families here in Clark County. So a lot of my personal, half my business is veterans, buying, selling, referring them to a lender to refinance, whatever it might be. So VA Rep is another big passion of mine that a lot of myself and my colleagues are involved with. It's another nonprofit organization.
And so do you deal a lot with VA loans and stuff like that? Because I think some people think that it's complex or it's a turnoff or if it's a VA loan. I don't know what. In 2018, is it pretty apples to apples with FHA or conventional
Jordan,
or anything else?
You're going to get me get the blood boiling here a little bit. But another pet peeve of mine, I'll have a buyer. You want to buy a house, and you're a veteran, and I'll pull up the MLS listing, and it'll say financing considered. It'll say conventional, FHA, and cash. They couldn't type VA, and I'll call the agent, and the agent will say, well, my seller, he doesn't really want a VA buyer. And I can get into a whole conversation what I would say to that listing agent because that's usually not the case. It's usually the agent's misconceptions or about a VA loan, that it has certain difficulties that other loans don't have. And it's really a misconception. It's a myth that we call it at VA Rep, that the VA loan, in my opinion, is the best loan out there. That's the one, I think if you talk to Fairway Mortgage here, ask them which ones they have the most default on, and VA would be the minimal, I would think, of those that are defaulting. So
how were you able to get into the niche of military families and helping those people out?
It started when I was a loan officer. A local newspaper here in town, I started advertising in it, a little military newspaper called the Veterans Reporter News, and I've been advertising in it ever since. Every month, my mug is in there on a quarter page, and that got the ball rolling. And then from there, it getting involved with VA Rep, trying to make some contacts at the Air Force Base, different VFW posts we speak at through VA Rep. We do a lot of educational classes for the military, because a lot of veterans get out of the military and they really don't know how to buy a house. They don't have a clue. The VA just said, oh yeah, we'll guarantee you the house, it's $1 down. Right. And they think it's that simple, and obviously it's not. So a lot of what we do is educating that veteran on getting them to a lender first, and then they come back to us to buy the house.
So it sounds like you're very active in the veteran community, right? Through marketing and speaking and doing different.
Yeah, I think this Saturday, September 8th, there's a big military appreciation event at Craig Ranch Park that a lot of businesses are promoting. They do that every year. It's free to all military families. So I mean, I think they sometimes the veterans get a bad rap, or they get pushed aside a little bit when it comes to what they deserve. And I didn't serve in the military. My dad did. My dad was a master sergeant in the Korean War. So growing up, I felt like I was in the Marine Corps, living with my dad. Being that he was a master sergeant. But yeah, the military here is something that's very close to my heart. I enjoy working with them every day.
Sure. So if somebody watching this is interested in hiring you to buy or sell a property, how do people get a hold of you?
The best way is directly 702-241-8611. That's 241-8611. That's my direct line. I answer the phone. Another pet peeve of mine, if you call me, I'll answer the phone. Unless I'm talking to you, of course, on camera. But a lot of realtors don't answer phones. They don't call back. I mean, that's another NAR thing. Communication is a big problem with agents and the consumer. So that's the best way to find me, or just Google Tim Kelly Kiernan. There's a whole bunch of stuff on Google where you can find me, on Facebook, things like that.
Awesome, Tim. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and joining me on Real Estate Pros.
Jordan,
It was a pleasure.
Jordan, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
And we will see you guys on the next episode. Yeah.